we can get it cracking whenever you're ready. And then I got a website we can do the draft through. So I'll get that after we finish the basketball conversations. Just get some of these matchups and how we think the playoffs gonna go. Make official predictions. Like who your team you locking in with a team for the rest of the playoffs.
I did see that Grizzly Warriors game that was influenced by referees, and it seems to me like, man, this fix is in. Because I saw bits and pieces, and then I saw the highlights, and it always, so I didn't see the narrative, because I always listen to the narratives. The narratives will never mislead you if you follow it close enough.
So we got most of the playoff matchups already set. And we got the last round of the play-in, I think, is tonight.
Yep. When I see the guy who was doing the color commentary start framing a discussion and start talking about miracles and junk like that, I say, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Are y'all touching the wire?
Me?
No, I'm not.
No.
I don't believe so.
You got a buzz somewhere?
It's all the way over there.
The audio just keeps going up and down randomly.
What is this right here? It's a disconnect or
Oh,
something?
that's a charger.
Oh, that's what I thought it was, yeah.
We just gonna rock with it. Y'all ready?
Yeah. I don't think I've been doing too much rocking.
No, I think it's the stuff right now. I'm ready.
It's your bit. That's my camera over there.
Yeah, I'm over here today, so.
Got rid of all my mucus.
Oh.
Feel like I'm at a full lung capacity for the first time in a long time.
In the herbs and the vitamins and all of that, and understanding like the deficiencies and stuff that we have, like they were really in tune with nature and in tune with
Your
their
medicine.
bodies and stuff like that. And you didn't have like the pharmaceutical companies trying to run up billions of dollars. So
Literally, your medicine is your food.
yeah, for real. No, facts. It's a big fact.
In fact, I'm a walking testament to that this week, because I just took some cayenne pepper, some ginger, and a little Epsom salt and boiled it and inhaled the vapors. And it cleaned me right out.
Well, I actually drink like a cayenne ginger lemon tea. Like that's for real. Like that, yeah. You the benefits of cayenne pepper. I'm telling you, you get it. It's a good blood circulatory.
Cleared me out.
So, no, I'm saying it's a good blood circulatory. All for you folks. I'm gonna drop some game here real quick. For all you folks that take that little blue pill, and this niggas in their 20s that be taking, the all that bullshit, cayenne pepper. Thank me later. But anyway, getting into basketball, because we got the NBA playoffs starting here pretty soon. We got the last round of the play-in games today. We got the Heat against the Hawks and the Grizzlies. Who you think locked up that last spot?
I can't really count the Grizzlies out, because the Mavs are still piecemeal together to me still right now. Their chemistry is garbage. They're trying to rely on heroes too much, and you can't do that.
The Grizzlies coach, man. They fired their coach.
There had to be a reason for that, to fire that coach late in the game.
I mean, for whatever reason.
You said you got the Mavs?
Me personally, I'm taking the Mavs.
I got the Grizz because I don't think Ja Morant is ready to go home just yet.
I mean, no matter who wins, about to run into a buzzsaw in OKC. So,
This is true.
I mean, it's who wants to go to Cancun first? Pretty much. Then in the Hawks and Heat game, I feel like that's a pick 'em.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah. If
Who's
and
at home?
I am a gambling man. The Hawks. I am a gambling man. I wouldn't bet on this game. I wouldn't touch this game with a 50-foot pole.
I'm going to go to Hawks because they're at home. I mean, they can shoot like they shot in their last game.
Yeah, they definitely shot the lights out. My whole thing, if the Hawks don't make it, and it's like, what do you do with Trae Young? Like, because obviously you're not going to get to where you want to get to unless your goal is to just be a friend
Not
playoff team.
franchise player to me.
I agree to a certain extent. I think all the young players have to learn how to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, if this was maybe 3-4 months ago, I would be saying trade him to LA, but we kind of got a point guard now, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks in that one too.
I mean, I look at Trae Young, and I think the era of the little guy dominating the game is much over. And he don't have the intangibles defensively to really strap the team to it.
He definitely is a liability defense.
That's why I wouldn't.
You need to I think you could build around him, which is why I don't say he's not a player. Because if you build the team around him, he has shown that they can have some level of, winning capabilities. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals a few years ago. So I definitely believe that they have a formula that they think they can win with. They're just not building the team properly. So it's either build the team the right way around him or pivot. I mean, because you just saw, like, with Houston, and I give credit to where it's due, the Pistons turned their down from Houston didn't even make the play-in last year, and the Pistons were a 14-win team. And now they're both, like, Houston and the Pistons are what, the 5 seed?
5 or 6.
So it's like, if you're going if you're going to pivot, you can rebuild fast if you get the picks, but you can't half-ass do it. Because if you half-ass do it, you look like Phoenix. And another failed big three.
When I saw that construction of that team, I say nobody on that team, as far as the big three, is a leader. You can take all the stats. I've seen Booker too many times meltdown in games, and he ain't the guy you want to go to. And I've seen Kevin Durant, a defense thrown at him, and he freaks out and passes and starts throwing up crazy shots. And then I've seen, what's his name, Bradley Beal, ride the coattail of too long and then just want to explode in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, you ain't Michael Jordan. You can't do that. And I don't see leadership of any one of those guys. And then I'm like, you got all these guys, statistically very good players, but the IQ part and the chemistry was never there. Mm-hmm. So I would never trust. I mean, when I picked Phoenix beginning of the season to do best, I figured that all those stats were going to bear out, and it failed miserably.
Like, I never believed in the Clippers. Like, people were on the hype train for the Clippers for the last, 5 years, pretty much since they got Kawhi. Toronto, I've never really believed in that team.
Had fared a lot better than the Suns, though.
Definitely. I mean, well, the Clippers can be dangerous when Kawhi is healthy. Mm-hmm. The question is, when is Kawhi consistently healthy? Well, the last time he was consistently healthy, he won a chip.
I've always wondered if all this low management doing with him all season long was purposeful.
I kind of thought the same thing about Joel Embiid, and them motherfuckers didn't make the playoffs at all.
Embiid, so. I have never been in his corner because I've never seen him fitness before. I'm on the court to see how big he was, and I said, look how he lumbering down the court. He looked like he's about 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah. And
when you get, because I know with me, when I get 10 pounds overweight, my body just tells me, like, no.
See, my whole thing with Joel, he reminds me of like a prime Shaq. Like, after the three-peat, like that second or third year. Like, because he was playing big during that time. But if you remember, Shaq was lean and muscular before he put on all that weight.
He was very,
you know what I mean? So
agile.
He could sustain the weight gain and still, he already had the footwork in place. It's like you're trying to build these skills and attributes playing at 330, 340, way overweight. It's like, yeah, bro, you can't do that.
To me, when I see
it's not working, that's a lot to put on your lower extremities.
Yeah, when I see Joel Embiid, I just saw Greg Oden light. He was Greg Oden but his potential will never be reached because he won't participate in the fitness program.
I mean, well, I can't quite say he's as far as Greg Oden because Oden never got the opportunity to show us what he could be in the NBA.
That's why I say light.
Joel Embiid is one of MVP, so
Yeah.
I just, even though it may have been an MVP with an asterisk because it was just like we're just not going to give it to Jokic, but whatever. That's a conversation for another day. But so playoff basketball is here. We both picked our play-in team, so we're gonna lock into the 8th seed. We got matchups. Bucks Pacers. Who you taking in that? Right?
Because Lillard ain't.
He's cleared, but I don't think he's gonna come. He hasn't played basketball. And just not play basketball for 4 months and then just start game one, first round of the playoffs. Like, all right, I'm back. You know what I mean? So they kind of got to get them ramped up. I think that is determined by how much they struggle in that series, if they struggle in that series. And I mean,
To me, they're really relying on Giannis.
I mean, shit, that's not a bad person to have to rely on.
It's
though.
not, but I'm just saying.
We saw the last time he was fully healthy in the playoffs. He put the team on his back. Now, granted, he had a better supporting cast,
much
but
better.
now it's really you can just wall up and stop him, and the rest of the team not gonna give you shit. So
When I look at Bobby Portis, that he's in the league still is a marvel to me because he is so one-dimensional and so volatile that it's easy to get into his head and distract his play. Much of a bet as he is, he's learned that, you know what, they're just playing head games with me. They don't really, I mean, he takes everything personally, and when you do that in a league on that level, the concentration is thrown off.
So that series to me is kind of unique because Milwaukee obviously has the best player on the court. Indiana constructed has the best team.
Better team, yeah.
So, and it's a team game. So I'm leaning Indiana, even though part of me wants to say Milwaukee could win this. I think Giannis has enough in the series. I think Indiana might have a little they could just throw at the team. You know what I mean? And if you as an off night where an off night for him might be 25, points. Right, 28 points, 7 rebounds and 4 assists, 2 blocks. So
they may not win that game.
Exactly, because you're not. It's how much are you getting from your supporting cast? How much can you get from the role players and the bench players?
I don't trust Brook Lopez. I mean, to me, the Bucks are just. To me, they look almost piecemeal together right now. But I look at Indiana, and they got because Miles Turner, when he gets this is a 7-footer, and when he gets his stroke going on the outside,
he's hard to deal with.
And you got Brook Lopez, who was like 50 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been around for a little minute.
And he never was the most agile person in it anyway. So
the good thing about having a Miles Turner, being able to play on the perimeter and draw him out, it clears up the paint.
The paint.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take that. I think I'm gonna take Indiana. They also got Buddy Hield, got shooters. They got Tyrese Halliburton, who is an incredible facilitator and a great player, just all around. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give Indiana the edge there. The next matchup we got.
You going Pacers?
Pacers.
Yeah, I think we're both picking the Pacers there. That's an interesting matchup.
That's gonna be a 7-game series. Hawaii comes to play. They are not going down easy.
Yeah, that's gonna be difficult.
They are. The Denver Nuggets really, if you make Michael Porter Jr. play defense, his offense suffers greatly.
Yeah, but they got Jamal Murray back too. So
yeah.
I think Jamal Murray will be the catalyst. Like, they'll kind of go as he goes. Because you know what you're getting out of Jokic. You know what you're getting out of Michael Porter Jr. And that's really all they have at the top. And then beyond that, you know what you're getting out of Aaron Gordon. So,
he's hot.
I mean, offensively, yes. He reminds me of Anthony. But defensively, you know what you're going to get out of him. So hopefully he's able to provide you some more on defense that can slow the Clippers offense down. But I just think with LA, you're gonna hit a point where playoff Harden shows up, and he's like the opposite of playoff Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
he's gonna have a game where he just melts the fuck down. Like it's just if history repeats itself, and they say history has a tendency to repeat itself.
But I'm looking at the center.
I like Zubac.
Zubac, somebody you can just beast around and bully.
He's
them.
not like Jokic isn't gonna just be able to just back him down. Actually, I heard a stat. He attempted it like 7 times during his regular season, and he went 1 for 6 off of that against him. So, but Jokic is a really smart player, and they will pivot. They'll pivot the game plan to how to attack that Clippers defense. I'm gonna go Denver in that series.
Well, I'm going never games though, because that's not going to be an easy series at all. I look at what's my man Bowling name, Paul, not Paul. What's his name? The guard for the Clippers, Norman.
Oh, Norman Powell.
Norman Powell is a beast when he gets it going. I've seen him rip off 3 or 4 3-pointers in a row, and I'm like, where was that at? And then Leonard, and if James Harden, most difficult players to guard in the league.
Yeah, I think if it goes 7 games, I give that advantage to Denver. Next series, we got the Detroit Pistons against the New York Knicks.
Had their number because the styles make the series, and I think, the Knicks really, their to me is so tepid. If you can bottle up Bronson, and we got the height to do that,
Yeah.
their offense just slows to a grind.
Shit, we're gonna have to disagree here. I'm gonna also take the Pistons just because I think the Pistons are going to have more tenacity. Those foul calls that people depend on in a regular season, they let you play a little bit more come playoff time, and I think that benefits the Pistons, at least for a round. The size down low to be able to bully Cat and knock him off of his bit, and I don't think they have enough outside. They do have pretty good perimeter defense though in New York. I'll give them Michael Bridges.
If they move Cat outside, that's gonna be for their whole entire offense.
See, and the interesting thing is, I don't even think you need that with center. You could put Isaiah Stewart on.
That's
him,
what I mean,
and he's gonna really affect him because he's good interior, post defense, perimeter too. So I think the Pistons have had something with the Knicks in the playoffs. However, this is the first time we'll see the Pistons
in the playoff series.
They don't have that.
Well, you can
experience.
because series are all about adjustments, and I don't know how they would adjust. I do know that the Pistons are a gritty team, and to me, teams that are gritty give the Knicks fits. Mm-hmm. That's where I had the worst record in the conference against the elite team.
Yeah,
that's that reason.
In the East and the West.
In the East, yeah, all the top teams in the West, they're like 1-9 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is like a glaring, obvious kind of statistic that you can't bully around. That to me says they had a decent record, decent season, but the teams that they should have beat, the teams that they couldn't beat, they really couldn't beat.
Right, yeah. And so for that reason, I don't really think they have a championship caliber team. I like the moves, and even coming into the series, I told you they were a sneaky team that I liked, but I felt like they were away. And I still think that prediction kind of came true because obviously they're, but they don't have that caliber of player that I can really take over games. I'm a hot take. I think that would be a great destination for Kevin Durant.
It would.
I think that would be a great, because they already have the leadership structure. He could just come in and hoop. You know what I mean? And between Jalen Brunson, you have a facilitator, so you're not like, it's not like the where it's like you're looking for somebody to facilitate the offense outside of Kevin Durant. You know what I mean?
That fiasco was just that, an
Well,
absolute fiasco.
Again, like I just mentioned a little bit earlier, another failed Big Three. I definitely think that would be a pretty good destination for him.
The
If
reason-
not, I would say go back to Golden State. But
The reason I like the Pistons is because they don't really have a big three. They have a medium five.
I
and
like
that.
the Pistons model because if you look, teams that are winning the championships right now are homegrown. Like we drafted and developed, and we didn't make the trade.
No quick fixes.
We found players that fill holes, and then we develop. You know what I mean? And those are the teams that can create dynasties. You know what I mean? So it just takes patience. And the problem with professional sports now is so much money. There's no patience.
Nope.
Like it's just like, well, if you can't win now, we're gonna go find somebody who can. You know.
It's so difficult to do that with the when you're looking at a budget. You just really can't buy a title like you think you can.
I think this series is going to be a foregone conclusion, but the next series we got Orlando Magic at the Boston Celtics.
That's probably,
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is 1-8 in the.
The one thing that I give Orlando credit do have the perimeter defenders to be able to bother shooters because Boston has a lot of perimeter shooters.
I've never seen any team go as far as have gone on perimeter shooters.
Like
Since they did it.
Like the funny thing that you mentioned that like are top heavy with depth, which is a very unique structure to have. You haven't really seen it's like that Golden State team. Like nigga, even the bench players shoot threes. We just can't catch a break. Like, oh man, shit. Give me nightmares as a LeBron fan. I ain't
used to
even gonna
love
lie.
watching Golden State come out in the third quarter, players, and they still lighting it up, and I'm like, how are they doing this?
And then you would have like the Sean Livingston and just light up the fucking mid range. Like, just dude, Festus Ezeli shooting fucking threes. Like Festus fucking Ezeli. All right, bro. Whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely taking Boston. I think Orlando might be able to sneak out a game, make it interesting. Like I do think this would be I can't necessarily say that. I was gonna say this might be the only sweep, but you still got the Cavs. Depending on if they end up playing Atlanta or if they end up playing but that OKC, whoever ends up, whether it's Memphis or I forgot the other team. Yeah, the Mavericks. I fucking picked. Fuck, I forget that fast. Yeah, that'll be a sweep. So, next matchup. This matchup, Warriors. Rockets.
You know what? I think the Rockets are just too young right now to compete with Golden State. Golden State has all that experience, and it ain't just championship; it's just experience. And I don't think that the Rockets know how to flourish in playoff basketball yet.
We haven't seen it. This would be an interesting test because, again, like I said in that last series, with Houston, but you defensively, like when we saw them lock in on Houston lock in on Golden State that last game, they held 3 points. Draymond had 2.
Yeah, but Steph Curry was
Not
kind
for
of
the quarter.
not 100% in that
For the
game, though.
No. This was just a couple. This wasn't like months ago. This wasn't like when he was hurt. This was after he dropped the 50-point burger, and then he dropped the 37 on the Lakers, and then, like a game after that, they go play Houston and 3 points. Media, because that white little waffle color Negro, but so you're taking Golden State.
Golden State.
Well, we finally disagree on one. I'm taking Houston.
I just think Houston got players who rely strictly on athleticism, and you can scheme against athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
You can't scheme against somebody that can shoot the lights out because they just keep stepping back farther and farther and farther.
Unfortunately, you kind of can. I mean, series would be interesting to see if they could, keep up with what Golden State throws at you. But on the opposite end of the, you also have to keep up with that, Houston offense, and they were one of the top transition offenses in the NBA last season. So, and I know like everybody is dependent on playoff Jimmy to be the catalyst. So
he's something different.
Playoff Jimmy, on average, gives 4 extra points.
He is something different.
He's gone from 21 to 25, like on average.
And I've seen him also. He said, "I want to bring."
He's averaging 17 points a game this season.
He hasn't had to average any more than that, but he said it that I want to bring Draymond and Steph another time. And I was like, that's lofty aspirations right there. But
yeah, he wants to win a title. So I think the State Magic has kind of run its course, and I don't think they make it out of the first round. That's just they the beautiful thing about it, I always say, they got to go play the game.
Play the game.
And lastly but not least, because are you picking Cleveland in their first round matchup? We don't even know who they play yet because you got to play the play-in game, but it's gonna either be or Atlanta, and I don't think either one of them
they
stand a
can't
chance for the whole series. They may be able to get a game, but and then the Thunder is kind of a foregone.
Cleveland is to me they are a really unique team because their center has learned to play outside, but he's got a nice inside game as well.
Yeah, but they also have 2 people that they can throw at you because you got Evan Mobley as well as Jared. I kept wanting to say Van. I'm ready to talk about the Lakers so bad. That's the next series we getting into. But yeah, so constructed though. I do think like legitimately I would be shocked if they didn't end up in the Eastern Conference Finals.
The
with
Cleveland
Boston.
Cavaliers are literally inside out with 4 players.
Yeah, they're very structurally sound.
That's crazy. Inside out with 4 players. Only one that ain't going out is Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But he's doing enough.
But that's good though because you need that rim protection. So, like the beautiful thing about having the 2 big men, they can play off of each other because their play styles mesh. Like it's not like having an Andre Drummond and a DeAndre Jordan, whereas you the paint all day and slashers can't cut. It's like if you can't, you're not in. So the fact that they're able to play off of each other, I think
guys
really
could both
benefits
camp out
them.
at the 3-point line. Nobody would pay me attention.
Okay, lastly but not least, the matchup I've been waiting for.
Lakers are going to beat them easily.
Easily?
Yeah, because the Timberwolves, as long as you're relying on Rudy Gobert, I would not cheat. No.
I ain't going to lie. I've been waiting to do this. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. In 5.
Probably if they don't sweep them, because I mean.
Ant-Man, Batman, Spider-Man, Soda Can, Lakers in 5.
Julius Randle? Nah. Rudy Gobert? No.
If Minnesota stands any chance, Julius Randle is actually going to have to fucking play like an NBA player.
Exactly. And I look at Ant-Man, and he's easily frustrated. Frustrate him with decent defense. Just don't let him run wild. Because I'm like, you want to shoot threes? Go for it.
Right.
I don't. To me, he's and on a lot of podcasts and chatter, criticize players, and they're like, dude, win something first or shut up.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. Really, when you talk about like the generation that talks shit about the old generation and how y'all couldn't play and all that shit, I'm not part of that generation. like I'm a millennial. Like I'm 30. Like
okay.
That's them Gen Z niggas. Like them motherfuckers. I don't like how they think either. Just like
I'm like
not all of them, but
the way he folded.
% of them.
I mean, the way he folded last year in the playoffs, I'm like, dude, you don't have the right nor the credentials to go back and criticize anybody.
Now, I do have to disagree with you there a little bit because they did send the defending champions home. That they felt like the consensus was no one beat them in a 7-game series, and clearly we saw someone put together a game plan to do it. And then they go to the Western Conference Finals and Luka Magic.
All I can say is,
Luka be cooking motherfuckers in the playoffs, just sending niggas home.
Not going to hitch my wagon, man. I'm just not doing it.
I think it's a year too early. Just like I think about OKC ultimately. Lakers in 5.
How does LeBron look physically though? That's what kind of worries me about not so much this series here, but as they progress.
So the last time you had a healthy LeBron and a rested LeBron, they won the fucking chip.
When I look at how he got last time, I didn't see any really overt effort when he read that groin. I said, you know what?
Well, see, here's the thing that I told you, or I not necessarily told you, but I said right after the trade happened. I'm like, for the first time in his career, he's gonna be able to pace himself, and it actually be able to work out, because you saw remnants of it last year when he started up that continuity with Austin Reeves, and it's like, oh, I don't necessarily have to be on the floor all the time, or when I'm on, I can to Austin Reeves and let him, go get a bucket, set the offense, and do things of that nature. Luka.
But see, if Austin Reeves is not playing out of his mind, the Lakers are not going anywhere.
So last year, I would agree.
All I'm
this
saying
year is he's the third scoring option.
He is the third scoring option, but he's also the athleticism on the team. LeBron only goes athletic in spurts.
So he picks his spots. I wouldn't say he's not athletic, because to be unathletic means you can't turn it on.
I'm saying
like the fact that he has a switch that he could just turn on and off when he wants to, and there are games that you can tell, okay, Luka don't got it going. So I can't, sit back. Let me turn it on, and you know what I mean. But he can sit back. That's why he might have 4 or 5 points first 3 quarters in the game with 21 points, because when it's time to. And the funny thing, I remember the narrative surrounding him for a long time. Thank you, Skip fucking Bayless. He can't close. And I was just like, huh?
All I'll say is, in a series, when people can adjust to you also, I have no trust in him as a closer. Not without a solid cast.
So, yeah, no one has won without a fucking supporting cast. Jordan, fucking Kareem. Didn't Kareem win with Milwaukee?
Yes, he did.
When he had, I was going to say he had Oscar Robertson in Milwaukee. And then he was in LA and had fucking Magic.
Well, when Magic was in his heyday, Kareem was already past his prime, though. He was just over.
Right, but that's a great past. I mean, that's best fucking past their prime person to have. You know what I mean? So
reliable.
But that's what I'm saying. No one does it on their own. Everybody has to have a supporting cast in order to do it.
And see, I mean, to me, Austin Reeves and Luka, to me, after you take Luka, Austin Reeves is a drastic drop off if you got somebody who can defend him.
Well, there's a whole lot of teams that have 3 great perimeter defenders that can. You can't. Where Austin Reeves is able to drive and eat is you can't take your best 2 defenders and put them on Austin Reeves if Luka and LeBron are on the court.
Well, that's true. What you can do with the Lakers.
So like. Off if they end up playing Golden State in the series, because like a couple weeks ago you talking, they're like, yeah, that's what we looking for, and then getting blown the fuck out, and Steph Curry scored 3 points. He was like 1 for 11 from the 3, but no one in the media talked about that.
But you know what though, Houston would be a nightmare matchup for the Lakers because of their athleticism.
Yeah, I also think the Lakers are a nightmare matchup for Houston because again, you can't put your Amen Thompson is your best defender. You're going to have him either on Luka or LeBron.
You know what?
Then who do you put on the other person? Then you put on fucking Austin.
If I'm guarding the Lakers, I'm not putting my best defenders on Luka. I'm telling them you two beat me. Nobody else is. That's
Lakers in full.
I've always said that, and that's
Strategy.
no, but that's why
Lakers
the
in
Pistons always beat the Bulls because they say, let Mike do his thing, let Pippen do a little.
That was also a different era back.
But I'm saying everybody else.
And once everybody else was of great caliber, because before I want to get to the closer conversation, because when people say he's not a closer, people like to refer to like, oh, well, Ray Allen won him the championship. They don't talk about the 37 seconds prior to that. LeBron had scored the 13 points to even for us to be in a fucking position for you to hit that shot. Then the one he hit like 7 shots in a row, and then the one that he misses, they get the rebound. Chris Bosh passes it out to
Ray Allen,
and then he hits the 3, and it's Ray Allen won that ring. But no one talks about, they talk about Kyrie hitting that shot over Steph Curry, the 3. No one talks about like the defense that set that up, like the block and all of that stuff. But even before that happened, LeBron had scored all of Cleveland's points last minute and a half.
I do understand that, but
And they didn't, like, neither team scored the next like 4 minutes.
but this ain't that LeBron anymore though.
It's not.
That's why I say
But here's my whole thing.
I'm not putting my best defenders on LeBron or Luka.
Here's my whole thing. We've seen LeBron had fucking 4 different careers. He's been 4 different players throughout his different stints. He's literally whatever you need from me. Like right now, everybody, you talked about how he's not a great defender. That's bullshit. He's fucking great defense.
All I'm saying is,
And the funny thing is, I don't think it's never been the fact that he just couldn't defense. It's you have to divert so much. Like you have to pick your spots, especially as he started to age. And it's like he didn't have anybody. Like even with Anthony Davis was a great defender. Anthony Davis was really streaky. You saw that in that Lakers game when Luka went off, and he cried and was all emotional. And then it's like, yeah, go out and bust their ass for 45. Well, on the opposite end of that, Anthony Davis had the opportunity to say, hey, I was a trade too. I'm here. Dallas didn't lose that trade. I'm here. Yeah, no, we needed more than 13 points.
yeah, well, I've never been an Anthony Davis fan though, so
He's a great defender,
that.
but he offensively, he
To me, he's never, and this is the mistake about the modern era player, been able to hone one play that nobody can stop. And I don't see.
I mean, the skyhook, that was pretty unstoppable.
That's what I'm saying.
For that era.
I mean, the modern players, nobody take one go-to move that no matter what you throw at me, you can't stop. See, Kevin Durant, I thought should have been doing what Dirk Nowitzki did. Because Dirk was like, I'm tired of banging with y'all. All threes, I'm going to take you on that post. I'm going to step back about 17 feet, and I'm going to toast you all.
Yeah,
Go-to.
The mid-range game is, it's not used as much.
It's wasted.
It's not like it's not feature. It's not a featured part of offensive.
Yeah. When I look
you have a couple players that are still solid mid-range players, and they're the top talents in the league. You got DeMar DeRozan. You got Kawhi, immaculate mid-range player. You have I'm drawing a blank on Jimmy Butler. I was just thinking, damn, he just got traded to the Warriors. Jimmy Butler is a great mid-range player. That's actually the dynamic that made the Warriors so much more dynamic, ironically, because he's able to get to that mid-range and post-game to draw.
Hamilton made a career out of that, mimicking Reggie Miller. Reggie was Rip was like, catch me if you can. Now, if you put somebody on me that has any kind of offense, he's going to be useless because I'm going to run him through so many screens and so much off motion, and then I'm going to a 10-foot jump shot at the end of all, so my legs don't have to be steady because I'm taking 10-foot jump shots. And see, that was Rip's career thing.
Okay.
He said, Mom told me how to do that. Just get your mid-range game going on, and the rest will fall in place. And I watched guys all through my NBA watching who have had a go-to move that you just simply couldn't stop. And you knew it was coming and came and it went, and you couldn't stop that.
LeBron got a basic one when you get the ball, and then he a little step back and shoot.
I look at LeBron and I say he does a lot of things very well, but he doesn't do anything extremely well. And I've never seen LeBron, because they have always said if this
I would agree to disagree.
himself down into the post on a consistent basis and just drop step you on you and just develop that his career.
He did that though.
Doesn't do it, not consistent.
I mean, well, here's the whole thing. LeBron got to a point where have a go-to move that you can't stop. You can't stop shit I want to do. Like, he developed the post. That was Cleveland Bron. He developed the three-point game. He developed the high-flying, I'm these Circus Olay dunks. Like, J.R. Smith not J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert talked about it on the podcast, like, after they Dallas. Like, I guess they had a team meeting, and Dwayne threw up that lob, and he caught the season where they just decided, we're not taking threes. We're going to pump fake and take you on a drive, and just everything is just, and it's like no one could fucking stop it.
And I see. I look at the game nowadays. I've watched.
But that's the point that I made, where it's just like, bro, these players throughout his career. And like right now, he's a different player.
Yeah, I watched about 6 games last week, and I was nauseated because all I could see was dribble,
shoot,
chuck a 3-point, dribble.
That's really the game plan now.
And it's like,
I mean, it's a part of like the analytics of today. Like threes count up more than twos, and so it's so fast paced that you're getting an extra 5-6 possessions. They think you can make up for it.
Yeah, and I say this, like, I took to Pistons preseason game this year, and everybody's, a few guys are trying to make the team still, so they were really out there hustling and playing hard. And my sister was
probably the best damn game of the year.
Like, why is everybody shooting from so far out? Now, she's a novice NBA. I used to have her playing ball with me in the backyard, so she knows about the basics of the game. And she's like, I was always telling her, get the easiest shot possible. And she's like, why is nobody doing that anymore? These guys just making this shot. And then she says, why do they keep traveling? And I'm like, I can't do no more. It made me laugh because they showed a move that Tyler Hero did against the Chicago Bulls. I said, why are y'all slowing this down? You saw him obviously traveling. And they didn't move. And my girl was like, ain't that travel? No, it's a step back.
Yeah, it's a travel in the 90s.
I'm like, he took 3 steps.
In
step back.
In 2025, but get to the conversation we got into last week, the rules changed.
The rules changed.
So like,
it was hilarious to me that when I see people who have watched basketball as long as I know that they have, and they're looking like they haven't watched it in a while and picking up on it again, and why is he traveling? Oh, what was that a carry? Why is he doing that? I'm like, because allow it.
See, that's what happens when you are out of touch with a sport and then you come back into it, and it's different.
It's totally different.
It's different. So real quick before we get out of here, I do want to ask, what are your predictions for Western Conference, Eastern Conference? Who's gonna, and then we're gonna make our finals predictions, and then we're gonna make who you rocking with. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious who.
It's gonna come down to East. To me, that's like a complete toss-up because I don't trust SGA in a series. He be the MVP, but when they allow you to get very physical, he's kind of slightly built.
And he depends on that foul call.
That's whistle. What I mean. He depends on that.
That's why I think he's not going to be as effective like James Harden. It's like once you're not whistle anymore, That's 17 points a game that you missing out on.
You're frustrated. You're frustrated, and then you start doing things out of character. So I don't trust him at all. I mean, I would love to see LA and Golden. I ain't holding my breath for that one either.
So I think it's also gonna come down to LA and OKC, and I'm taking the Lakers to win the whole fucking thing. Even if they don't, I'm rocking with you, my dog. Till you fucking retire, every year you win a league, damn it, I'm giving you the nod to win the fucking chip.
If it came down to OKC and them, if they have even a piece of a coach, I would take them over their athleticism, not so much scoring, even a piece of a coach. Because if you know how to coach against, once again, it may be 90s. I mean, let LeBron and Luka run apes because Luka ain't really one given for athleticism and the ring chicken. Let those guys carry this team and stop everybody else and see if they can get 50 points apiece. If they can't, I'll take their 40 and
Lakers 5.
I'll take you. Okay. So
Lakers in 5.
I'm against my better judgment. I'm going with OKC coming out of the West.
In 5. All right. And out of the East, I think it's gonna end up being Boston. Cleveland.
You gotta stop, and I don't think Cleveland can.
I don't think so either. So, in the matchup, the NBA of especially the historians, you would have the Los Angeles Lakers against the Boston Celtics. Well, I think it's gonna be the Lakers against the Celtics. I think that's a fun series too.
Well, as people in times past, I'm simply going to follow the narrative, and as it goes on, if I see the narrative bending toward history, it's going to be LA Boston.
I would love that. I would fucking love that.
If it's not that kind of,
it's been a while since I saw LeBron. But it warms my heart. Warms my heart.
I would probably still. I'm leaning toward OKC, and seeing them against the Celtics and way over their heads, and Boston repeating. We haven't had a repeat champion in a while. I think they're going to try to.
This would be the first champion we had in 2020s,
and that's why I say that's a nice narrative.
And the crazy thing is, I think this. If we go through this decade and don't have a repeat champion, it would be the first time since like the.
Yeah, because the 70s, nobody repeated.
Because from like 80 to like 2000, you only had like 5 teams win the championship.
The Celtics were no longer an issue in the 70s. Nobody repeated.
Well, they're one of the 5 teams that won the championship from the 80s to.
But I mean,
I forgot the year.
Going back to the 60s, it was almost exclusively the Celtics.
They won 8 in a row.
8 out of 10 or something like that. So once that crew aged out, and it was an era of drugs in the 70s, it was. I'll be the first to concede that. But there were no repeat champions in the 70s.
So you taking the Celtics to win the whole thing?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad take. Lakers in 5.
I mean, see anybody beating the Celtics except the Celtics.
Jason Tatum, Power Ranger. It don't matter. Lakers in 5. It don't even matter. The funny thing is I had thought of something and then I went to say it and it slipped my mind. It was just like, hey, fuck it.
What's catchy?
Right type shit.
I don't know. I figured that America loves a great narrative. With this idiot we got in the White House, everybody's looking for some kind of a respite from him.
Alligator, count my paper. Lakers in 5, motherfucker. Hey man, but yeah, so I'm definitely taking the Lakers here. We also got the draft coming up. We'll have a mock draft coming out for y'all. So, yeah, we're about to wrap it up here. It's been a good episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. It helps us in the algorithm, helps us grow. We coming back